Chapter 7 Challenge Theory. One random day in 1989, when I was 8 years old, the ground started shaking and the lights went out. When the power returned, the news said it was an earthquake and proceeded to show devastating footage of collapsed highways, burning buildings, and a broken bridge. I lived in San Francisco, and we had just experienced the big one. My mind next wondered, what can I do to prepare for an event like this? How can I prepare myself, not only to survive, but to cope with what was now my worst nightmare? A world devoid of the modern conveniences I take for granted and think I need to survive. I imagined what it would be like to strip myself of the pleasures that come with a tight, well-oiled society. Things like electricity, water, trash collection, plumbing, and so on. I concluded that while existence without these sounded bad, death was certainly worse. I decided to investigate just how bad it would really be to live without these things. I mean, why not safely test my imagination's paranoia? Enter challenge theory. I next listed other habits and dependencies, then researched how to change a habit. My lazy internet research results were consistent. Changing a habit requires time away from the habit, and for some unknown reason, this generally takes about 21 days. A few experts say you can do it in less, but you can refer to Chapter 5 to see what I think about experts. Challenge theory can be used to stop what I call self-compulsory habits, which are routines you regularly employ that undermine your goals. You identify these self-compulsory habits and then attack them with consistency, the magic potion of challenge theory. To summarize, we form bad habits, we then get attached to them, and finally, we believe they're normal, and then sometimes, even worse, we think that they are inherent and permanent, which is really just a way of scapegoating genetics in order to avoid accountability. To change most habits is actually pretty easy and only requires an undaunting 4-step process. Step 1, recognize your unwanted habit. Step 2, set up a 21-day challenge. Step 3, track your progress every day. Step 4, do not cheat or quit. Integrity is your best friend. Step 4 is admittedly the hardest. Just ask my wife, who has reluctantly participated in a handful of challenges with me. No matter how many of these challenges you do, there is a learning curve for each one. For example, you'll want to quit the first few times you miss the comfort of your old habit. Bad habits are like bad ex-lovers. When they're gone long enough, you forget the drama as nostalgia sets in. But this is a mirage. The reality is that things were bad enough that you wanted out. It's important to remind yourself that you are breaking up with your bad habit. The first day is usually easy because you feel motivated and can brag to yourself, and others if you're obnoxious, about your incredible new plan. But day 2 gets harder because you won't normally see immediate results from your sacrifice, and now the glow of optimism has been replaced by a new routine that often feels difficult and unfamiliar. Day 3 is usually the hardest. Your mind will try its best to convince you that you've made a huge mistake and you should contact your old habit to reconcile your differences and get back together. Don't give up. If you have correctly identified a self-compulsory habit and set up a fair challenge, I promise you that at the very least, you will be satisfied with what you learn once your 21 days are complete, even if you decide to go back to the habit. Best of all, when you complete a challenge without cheating, you will respect yourself and never look at any habit or desire the same way again. The next few chapters feature my reflections from my favorite challenge theory experiments. Each one illustrates how I trained myself for 21 days until what once seemed strange became normal. True to their name, it is challenging to deny yourself the comforts of familiar routines. But these sacrifices are worth the confidence you will gain. When you go 21 days without giving in to an unwanted urge, you attain a sense of self-control that no product or outside source can give you. So, what's challenging you?
Yeah.